Hello guys, welcome back to the Overline Football channel. This is going to be a podcast, going to be episode 9, and it's going to be our Euro 2020 review. First of all, if you haven't seen, obviously, I'm sure you've seen, obviously, England lost on penalties to Italy in the final of the Euros. But we're going to talk about that, but I'm also going to talk about the whole of Euro 2020 as a whole, and also review our, basically, predictions we had at the start as well, so look out for that. First of all, Harry, how do you feel about this tournament as a whole?
I think it's been a fantastic tournament in a tough time. I think it's been a tournament a lot of us needed. There was every sort of bit of drama you could think of in your head happened. Interesting games, underdogs beating the favourites. There was lots of stuff that went on, and just in general, I thought it had a bit of a slow start, but the quality picked up, and obviously the quality shone through in the end. But there was lots of upsets and lots of exciting football in a time that we probably needed it the most.
So might as well talk about the final. Harry.
Yeah, do we have to?
Harry watched it somewhere different to me. I caught COVID, so I was sat at home with a tripod on FaceTime to everyone. I'll show you, it was editing. I'll show you the picture on the screen there. Me now. So yeah, it was an idea, but obviously, we might as well talk about the lineups first. First of all, England brought in one change. That was Kieran Trippier. That was for Bukayo Saka. Played 5 at the back to start with, and just start off. But just second minute goal, Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
What was your going through your head at the time in the second minute?
Yeah, just shocked. Like I didn't think we'd score that early. I thought we'd set up to contain Italy and hit them on the break, but we started really well. The plan, obviously we didn't do a preview for it, but the plan was obviously to make Harry Kane drop a bit deeper than he has been doing.
Yeah. And
influence play with his ability to pick out long range passes, and obviously that's what happened for the goal in the end. It worked really well for the first 45 minutes. Yeah. Saka, Sterling were getting in behind well as well, and there was a couple of half opportunities where they could have tapped it in. And Trippier was getting a lot of space down that right hand side, and that allowed for Luke Shaw to get a lot of space down his side too, and that's where the goal came in. And the first 45 minutes, I thought England kind of played that game to
definitely the first 20 at least. I mean, every time we went on a counter attack, especially our fullbacks had so much space a lot of the time. I felt like if we actually tried to get the ball into the box, it could have been 2 or 3-0.
Yeah.
Also, first half we went in 1-0 up. Obviously, Italy grew into the game towards the end of that first half. It looked more comfortable in possession.
Yeah.
Going into the second half now, obviously, Italy scored in about 67th, 66th minute, basically halfway through the second half.
Yeah.
Following a corner, everyone's fallen over in the box, and somehow Bonucci, also great save from Pickford before that, by the way, and then Bonucci knocks it in. I've got nothing to say about that goal really. I do think it should be allowed. By the way, I know some people saying it was a foul. I don't think it's a foul personally for me. Do you think it's a foul? Or?
I thought it was not a foul, but I think it was coming. I think Italy had kind of it worked like a goal out of nothing. As much as
No.
I'm probably quite happy with the defence that we've conceded 2 goals from 2 set pieces. A bit unfortunate, and we've not even won the tournament. The goal was coming. Italy were putting lots of pressure. England, there was a period of the game where I think Harry Maguire, about 5 minutes into the second half, had dribbled out of defence, got into a good position, looked up, and there was just Harry Kane, and he sort of played like a touch line, 40-20 rugby type touch line shot, just to get England to relieve some pressure. And when you're doing that 40 minutes from the end of the game, you know there's going to be a long half. So maybe that goal was the sort of kick that England needed at the time. Otherwise, it was going to settle into a period of Italy just completely and utterly peppering England's goal. I thought England improved massively after conceding with the change of system, and it probably prompted Southgate to change a few things up as well.
Yeah, so obviously after the Italy goal, they went to fall the back. I believe we did. We took off. Who did we take off? Was it
Trippier?
Trippier came off. On came Saka. Saka went into one of the 3 up top, and Grealish also came on as well. And then we looked better for me personally, and obviously towards the end of basically the full 90 minutes, obviously Saka came through Chile and he pulled back Saka's shirt. We all know the incident happened, and everyone knows about it already.
Well, both sides have played 120 minutes plus penalties. Well, not penalties for England, but 120 minutes in the last game. I'm pretty sure Italy had done it in the round of 16 against Austria as well.
Yes, they had.
So the only time they'd not was against Belgium. So they were knackered. England quite clearly were knackered too.
Yeah.
It felt like in that end of that second half, as much as both teams were trying to go for it, there was a bit of reluctance to properly throw people forward at the risk of conceding and just taking the game to extra time and obviously in the end penalties.
I thought obviously Chiesa had a good game for me, Italy. Obviously before he went off, got substituted off. I thought Chiesa had a very good impact. Obviously, I don't know why it took us 80 minutes to realise he just got a right foot. So every time he came on the left, he just cut it on the right all the time. We didn't stop it. We didn't shove him out to his left foot at all. We kept on his right foot happening all the time. So then extra time came. I feel like in the first half, it was just nothing really came on really. And then the second half, extra time, England dominated for me personally. A lot of chances, a lot of pressure. We just couldn't get it over the line. Obviously, penalty shootout. How did it go again? Who took the first penalty? So Kane scored. Italy saved, I believe. Is that correct?
No, Italy took the first penalty, didn't they?
Oh, did it get saved that first one or not?
No, it went in.
Scored. Kane scored. Then Pickford saved. Is that correct? Yeah. Maguire scored. Italy scored. Rashford hit the post and missed. Italy scored. Sancho saved. Italy scored. Saka saved.
Oh, Italy missed. We don't need to tell everyone knows what went on.
No,
come on.
Yeah. So we got to a final for the first time in 55 years. 100% record in finals is gone now. Upsetting. But overall, I felt like in that game, I felt like Italy were the better team in the game for me personally. Before we say anything, the better chances of me enjoying the game as well. Not having the penalties. Well, we could talk about penalties quickly, and obviously some people don't say we don't step up. Obviously, Grealish just come out and said he wanted to step up and didn't get chosen, which is fair enough. Gareth Southgate, I know Gareth Southgate came out and after the game he said I chose those players because they look the best in train. That's why they came so done, like Rashford and Sancho, which is fair enough.
It's different, isn't it, in the game? And I think you're right with Italy in the game, but I think Italy in the tournament as well. I think England were just the second best team in that tournament. I thought Italy from minute one were superb. England obviously had a slow start in the group.
Yes.
Italy were just on fire. They won all three group games very easily. They've beat two very good teams in Belgium and Spain to get to the final, and they held England over 120 minutes, who come off the back of three really positive results in the knockout stages as well. So I think Italy, just on the balance of that, were probably the best team in the Euros, just behind England. Obviously not to discredit anything England have done, but yeah, the penalties, there's no point talking about them. They're just a complete and utter lottery. I think I've seen him speak beforehand. Three of the takers that he wanted to take were off the field already. I imagine Kieran Trippier probably would have been one.
I think probably Trippier, Mount, I reckon.
Mount maybe Declan Rice or something. Possibly, I don't know. But like you said, he's seen him in training. Three of them are off. Three lads had to step up. Obviously, Sterling wasn't confident enough. Phillips wasn't confident enough. Grealish apparently put his hand up to trial, but I just feel like if he'd done it more strongly than he would have took one, considering the video that Southgate just goes around and asked. It doesn't really seem like Grealish is, as much as he probably volunteered, he didn't seem strongly enough to want to take one.
It's a bit worrying though to me that we basically chose the penalties on the spot rather than prepare. Obviously, he put the substitutes on, but rather than saying I chose those players from the start, and obviously we had to get a book out and maybe see a book and who wants to take which penalty. Surely you should think before a game. Obviously, no subs to come on and stuff like that, but shouldn't you really think before a game that you should know who's taking penalty, which ones?
No, I just don't think he thought that. I think he was obviously confident his team to win it in 90 minutes. So Trippier was took off just after the goal. So obviously Southgate was probably confident England could go and get another goal when they switched back to the 4 and put the 3 up top. And then over the 120 minutes, whether Mount was completely and utterly shattered. So they needed fresh legs in that midfield, and I can't remember who came on for Mount. Was it Grealish or was
Grealish or Saka? One of the two. But then I think Saka went as a 10 or something.
No, Saka went off for Trippier. Went on for Trippier.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I can't remember. And then obviously Rashford and Sancho came on late in the game to take the penalties. I think there's a sort of credence to the argument that they needed to be in the game earlier. I understand that you don't have to have maximum blood flow to take penalties, but just mentally being in the game, it's a lottery. Look,
Rashford came on 190th minute and played right back for 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, Rashford said in his statement he's normally really confident with penalties. He's just changed his run up. He's doubted himself. He shouldn't have. And that's nothing Southgate can impact. That's nothing Rashford can really impact. Of course, he needs to back himself more, but penalties are a lottery anyway. When you go to penalty kicks, you win some, you lose some. Obviously, England seems to lose quite a few, but it's fine margins, and look at the size difference between Pickford and Donnarumma. If you go into the penalty shootout and someone tells you Pickford's going to save 2, you think, oh, we've got a really good chance here. Donnarumma is just massive. You know, the chances are if he guesses the right way, he's saving it, no matter how good the penalty is. Unless you're Maguire and you've killed the GoPro.
I was astonished by that penalty. But I thought
small margins though.
It's like an actual during in the World Cup. When Eric Dyer, why is he taking it? He scored, and Harry Maguire. Why is Harry Maguire instead? But now he's absolutely nailed that. By the way,
talking about inches, an inch higher, Maguire's comes back off the crossbar, an inch to the right, Rashford's goes in the bottom corner. They're just so lottery. I would never ever blame someone for taking a penalty.
And also you say Pickford saved 2 penalties. That the final one, which you saved from Jorginho, I thought was breathtaking for me personally. I thought he had a slight chance again.
Yeah, it was a great save, and it was just a perfect way where you just wait for Jorginho rather than committing yourself. I understand keepers like to commit themselves in penalties in case it goes in the corner, but you know the way Jorginho runs up, he can't get enough power to get it in the corner before you get there. So as soon as you wait for it, and the 3 goalies that I've saved, I mean Dean Henderson for United, Edison, and then Pickford now saved from Jorginho. They're the only 3.
Well, Jorginho's also
they've all waited.
Jorginho was Chelsea top scorer last season, and all those were penalties for Jorginho. So they're pretty good penalty records.
I'm gutted for Pickford because the mouthing of the no problem as he's walking up was fantastic. So I'm gutted for Pickford.
Everyone.
And I'm gutted for the whole of all the lads. I'm not gutted for the England fans, but I'm gutted for the lads who've kind of made a lot of people who weren't interested in the national team kind of fall back in love with them again. There's not been this much access to them ever, I don't think, in terms of content.
In terms of training especially, I mean, a lot of the time, obviously saw it in the World Cup a lot with the unicorn, obviously Saka came on the unicorn as well in the game. And then in the training sessions, but it was obviously Rio Ferdinand talks about it as well. There's a lot of club rivalries back when it was Sven Eriksson and Capellas, a lot of club rivalries going on in terms of Gerrard, Lampard, Ferdinand and Rooney. This team didn't really seem to care about their clubs, they just wanted to play together all the time. And I felt like that helped England massively.
It's not this sort of I don't want to say patriotism because it's not the right word. But there's no Sterling and Sancho, it's not like they turn up and they just go, well, you play for United and you play for City. Even Foden, he's a Manc, he doesn't turn up and he's like that with the Manc United lot like Rashford, he's good friends with him and he's good friends with Jadon, he came through with him at City. There's no rivalries between the Tottenham lads and the Arsenal lads. They all get on. Everyone loved Bukayo, is from what I've read, and every single one in that who've not even met him before. So they must just be a group of approachable, likeable lads. They don't keep themselves to themselves. They're out there. They're looking out for each other, and it helps that they're also very talented footballers to go alongside that. Maybe not as talented as we have had in the past, but I think a sort of strong team ethic gets you a long way.
Overall, what would you rate England's tournament out of 10?
9.
9?
Yeah,
10 if on the tournament. Simple as that.
We wanted progression. We had them in. I know. Come on to predictions. We had them knocked out in the round of 16. I know I was a big advocate for that because I just didn't think they'd get over. But I think in terms of hurdles, beating Germany was probably the biggest hurdle of the lot. Getting through in a knockout game against one of the best sides in international sides in the world is massive. It null and voids the argument with Southgate that the first decent side he's come against he's lost. He easily navigated what could have been a tricky group without conceding a goal. We didn't concede a goal until the semi-finals, and then it was a set piece. We easily dispatched of Ukraine and dispelled the argument that we only won because it was on home soil. We were tested.
About that as well,
we were tested about going behind. We were tested of going behind, and we brought that back, and we won. Alright, a penalty kick, but it was we tested our resolve, and we passed that test. What?
You missed a penalty as well.
Well, and then in the final, look, we were inches away. So it's progression as well from a semi-final in the World Cup. We've got a good young group of lads there. There'll be a few that'll move on, but there's a few waiting in the wings to come in. Why not be excited about the future? Why not be excited about these group of lads? They're stopping it, obviously, being a 10 out of 10 is winning it on the day, but the penalties are the lottery, and obviously you can pick holes in the 90 minutes, but I thought we were pretty decent on the day. Italy are just the top quality side, and they took over in the second half, but I thought we had the first half, so I thought it was pretty even.
We might as well now go on to the predictions we made before, and which you'll see on the screen now. So this is Harry's first time looking back at what we predicted.
horrible, the group stage.
No, Group A, we predicted Italy to finish first.
Yeah.
Turkey to finish second.
That was more backed by you, I think.
Switzerland finished third and Wales to finish fourth. Obviously, switched Wales and Turkey around. That was the case in the end. Wales, for me, the teams who played against beat Turkey looked like the absolute whipping boys, surprisingly, in that group.
Are we going on to dark horses later?
We are, yes.
Right, okay. I just don't want to talk about Turkey now.
Group B, we got 2 right again, Belgium, Denmark. Finland, Russia. Finland surprised me, actually, to be fair. They obviously won a game, didn't they, against the Denmark in those
they were decent. I mean, on the final day, they could have gone through as well. Denmark went through with 1 win.
They did.
Didn't they? So
3 points it was, actually, just 3 points.
And I think as long as you get the top 2 right, I always feel like that's a decent enough guess. You know what I mean? As long as you get the 2 that are going through right, like even in Group C here, we've got the group virtually right. We had Netherlands and Austria going through. Obviously, we went for Austria top because obviously I didn't rate Netherlands at all.
No, I know.
And that was more my backing. I know Jamie would have wanted.
Yes.
So I think as long as you get the top 2 right, I think it's decent.
And then Group D, we got bang on spot on. We said Scotland, stinky bottom, England, mighty top, Croatia second, the Czechs third.
Yeah. A lot of that happened on the final day, didn't it?
It did. Also, the Czechs actually really surprised me in the group, to be fair. We'll come on to them anyway. But obviously, the Czechs beat Scotland. Croatia beat Scotland the final day as well.
Yeah.
Group B, absolutely nothing right.
No, Sweden finished top, didn't they?
Sweden
another
top.
surprising side.
Spain second, Poland.
We got Spain going through.
Slovakia third, Poland finished bottom. So
it was unfortunate. Poland could still go through on the final day as well. Yeah. You know, Lewandowski got him back into it, and then it was just too much for him. But.
And then finally, Group of Death. France top. We went for Portugal second, Germany third, Hungary fourth. We knew Hungary were going to finish bottom of the league, which it could have been any. They could have finished second at some point, second, third. We could have got obviously Hungary, as you might have seen already. But I felt like
they were very good, Hungary.
Out of all the predictions, we got half of them right, pretty much. So I don't think that's too bad.
And as well, you know, it's half right, but we did get who we got through right. It was just first and second one. Group E was definitely our worst by far.
Oh, I mean, we got no one right.
But even so, we only got Spain through. You know what I mean? We had Sweden not really going. It'd be interesting to see who we had as our third.
So the third place through, Ukraine to go through,
yes,
Russia to go through,
Ukraine.
Switzerland to go through, and we said Germany to go through in third.
But Germany went through in second anyway. So but Portugal went through in that group. And who's Russia's group?
Finland finished third, but didn't have enough goal difference.
So who went through instead? It was
the Swiss,
Czech. Yeah, the Czech. We got that one wrong, didn't we? So Czech probably was most.
And then obviously you might have seen our prediction video anyway. We went through the knockout stages.
Yeah, you can't really do the knockout stages, can you? Look at the state of that. We only had one sort of.
Yeah.
Right,
well, we said Belgium would beat Italy in the quarterfinals. We said England would go knocked out in the last 16 to Portugal because we said Portugal would finish second. This is just ridiculous.
Portugal to win the whole thing, didn't we?
We said Portugal beat Belgium. Oh my god, I forgot we did all this as well.
It's hard to judge these because
we said Turkey would get to a quarterfinal.
Because if you don't get the groups right, it's impossible to predict this anyway. So, but yeah, pretty shoddy. But we didn't have the right fixtures, did we? So it was pretty impossible to predict. But in terms of tournament winners, Portugal, we were bloody miles off because they got knocked out in the round of 16.
We'll talk about individual predictions we did as well. I'm not sure how I forgot about this or not, but our goal scorers, I went for Lukaku to win the top goal scorer.
Right.
You went for Lewandowski.
Right.
How do you think Lewandowski did in the tournament?
He scored 3, didn't he? And
2, I think. 2.
I thought it was 3.
It might have been 2 or 3.
He scored 2 on the final day, and I'm sure he scored 1 to get him back into the game against Spain.
Right.
So he was only 2 off. I just thought that with the group stage, I thought he might have got quite a few, because 5 isn't a massive amount, is it?
No, it's not, no.
I was obviously at the time, you obviously don't know, but off camera I was going to go for Lukaku as well, but I changed. And I almost went for... Who did I almost go for that was top goal?
Ronaldo.
Might have been Ronaldo. I don't know. But, yeah, Lukaku, solid shout. Lewandowski, do think it was a decent shout. He had
we did that based off as well.
One of my friends, actually, he probably won't be watching this, but he had Schick as his top goal scorer at the start of the tournament. What an incredible prediction that is.
Obviously, the top goal scorer were Schick and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
We got none of them. I think Lukaku got 4 goals, by the way.
I think Ronaldo wins the Golden Boot outright because he got an assist as well and Schick didn't get one.
Christ.
I'm sure that's how it works.
Whatever. And then we went for our player of the tournament. I said Lukaku, you said De Bruyne.
Yeah, because we had Belgium going all the way through the final,
We
didn't we? Both had decent tournaments, just were a consequence of Belgium not getting as far as we thought they would have.
No.
Unfortunately, of course, in that game, De Bruyne was playing with an Achilles injury,
Yes.
a torn Achilles, Eden Hazard, and they come against a really good side who pretty much tore them apart in the first 20 minutes.
Yep.
Both, I just don't think they're bad shouts. That we had Belgium to do well in the tournament, so it normally goes to, you know what I mean, look at who actually got it. It was Donnarumma.
Yes.
And that was because, you know, obviously a bit of bias from him just saving him in a penalty shootout.
Is that what you think it was? The bias was that?
I just think there was better Italy players in that team anyway. He's a good keeper. Will be a fantastic keeper for Italy for bloody next 10 years, won't we? So
surprise package team. I went for Turkey, finished bottom of the group, and Harry went for the surprise package team. Went for Italy.
Tournament winners.
So
before, and it's easy for everyone who sees this and wants to clip it to use this as a stick to beat me with, but Italy, you find me one person who told before the tournament that Italy were tournament favourites. The favourites were Portugal, Belgium, England and France. Italy might have been in that second category, but I'd watched Italy a lot of qualifying. Obviously I know Roberto Mancini, being a Manchester City fan, they were a very good side and they proved how class they were, and that is probably one of my best predictions going.
Ever?
Not because of that, because Italy were a good side and there's no doubt in Italy were a good side before the tournament anyway, so it's not like a Turkey. I think yours was more of a surprise package in terms of...
I kind of jumped on the Turkey bandwagon. Everyone knows a lot of stuff. Everyone predicted Turkey to do really, really well, and they just absolutely stink the whole tournament out for me personally.
Yeah.
Get one goal.
But at the moment, you're beating me 2-1 in predictions. So I think Lukaku was more goals than Lewandowski. Lukaku was ahead of De Bruyne in player of the tournament as well. But I beat you on that one.
Surprise package players. I went for Memphis Depay. Harry went for Diego Jota.
Both a bit shy, weren't they?
Depay scored a couple of goals for Netherlands. He looked alright. He looked alright a couple of games. And then Jota, you went for... I don't think he scored for Portugal, did he?
No, he set up a few goals, but not very. I thought the whole Portugal team were very disappointing in general, to be honest. They only beat Hungary in the group stage, didn't they? And that was...
They drew to France and
they drew to France and they lost to
Germany.
Battered by Germany.
Yeah.
And that was, what, 85th minute, the Hungary game with a deflection.
Yes, it was. And then Ronaldo scored a penalty.
Ronaldo scored two after that. But Jota was okay. I wouldn't say he was a flop, but he was definitely not anywhere near how Jota plays for Liverpool. So Depay was decent in a.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he scored a couple of goals for the Dutch, and we might as well talk. Who do you think your surprise package players was? I personally, I'm going to go for Patrick Schick and Luke Shaw. That's my two surprise packages.
Patrick Schick, definitely.
Yeah.
In terms of players that made an impression on me, I thought Pedri from Spain was absolutely phenomenal, and Barcelona are going to have a fantastic player there. He probably, but Schick definitely. He's a fantastic goal scorer. I just didn't know he was that good, and anyone who scores against Scotland's a hero. So
there we go then. Flop teams we went for. I went for Croatia. Harry went for the Netherlands.
I think Croatia was a decent shout up until the last game, wasn't it? Because there was a risk of them finishing bottom.
There was. I mean, if Croatia lost to Scotland, they were going to be out.
Yeah.
Dutch had only won 2 wins in a row, so they were through anyway. But obviously, both the teams went out in the last 16 anyway. The reason I said originally that Croatia was a flop team, considering they got to the World Cup final last time out, and basing off that, if you get to a World Cup final and get knocked out at the last 16 of the Euros, France did it as well, we know, and they won. But I feel that's a massive step down, and that's actually what happened. So that's why they were my flop team. In terms of the Netherlands, obviously they got 9 points in the group, I believe.
Yeah,
and then crashed out in the last 16 to Italy. Is that correct? Italy?
No, it was someone rubbish. I'm sure it was the Czech Republic. It was,
because there we go, because De Ligt got sent off, didn't he? That was the game. So, do you think that's good shouts for us? Or
pretty even in it. Netherlands for me probably more so because I don't know, who did Croatia get knocked out by? Spain won it, and it was on penalties in the end.
No, 5-3.
No, 5-3, but it was a fantastic game. Obviously Netherlands were a flop team up until probably France got knocked out. They were probably the floppiest team.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Talk about flop players. I went for Karim Benzema. Harry went for Harry Kane.
Both pretty awful shots. I thought Benzema's probably one of France's better players.
Yeah, I was going off, obviously, Benzema.
There was obviously a risk up until the Germany game that Kane was going to turn out that way. You know, he weren't scoring, he weren't playing well at all. He was rubbish in the group stage. But once he got his goal, he found his rhythm. He scored
four in, didn't he?
Yeah, 2 against Ukraine, and then the rebound of the penalty against Denmark. Kane was good. I thought Benzema was fantastic in his comeback for France. So probably both pretty shoddy picks, to be honest. I can't really think of a flop player. Maybe Bruno. Didn't really play though, did he? I can't think of one off the top of my head, unless I am completely overthinking Morata. But Morata weren't really rated, was he?
Let us know. You think the top player was of the Euros?
Mbappe?
Yeah.
Possibly Mbappe.
Yeah, I've said Mbappe. He didn't score, did he? Got 1 assist. And that was because of the penalty. He got chopped down for that Portugal game. Yeah, Mbappe will say flop player. Overall, Harry, we predicted Portugal to win the Euros. Italy won the Euros.
Yeah.
I got COVID. We lost in our final.
Yeah. Good tournament though. I really enjoyed it, and I was really exhausted coming to this Euros because obviously for me as a Manchester City fan, we went deep into every single competition, so I was I'm a bit footballed out.
Yeah.
But the football was exciting. The weather was nice for the majority of it. We got to go out and watch England a lot of the time and have good times doing it.
Well, I might just show you some. So obviously you might see some images on the screen now. What we did, we also appeared on England's TikTok celebrating and England's YouTube. Harry Kane reacted to our goal. We can put it in the video. Well, we might put it in the video now if it comes. If not, then we'll put the link down below to see that video anyway.
Yeah. It was just it was a nice way to, with the sort of summer that we had last summer with the pandemic and stuff like that, and I know it's still there, to sort of spend time with friends and family and stuff. I thought it was a nice way to bring it together. It's a shame that it ended on, not just because of the result, because of the England fans and people who, the so-called England fans online. I think everything that's kind of needed to be said around that has been said already. Yeah. It ended on sort of sour note for England, but in terms of the team, they couldn't be more proud of them. They've probably brought the nation together in a time that we've probably needed it the most. And as much as, you know, people like to slack off the "it's coming home" thing and stuff, it gives motivation to other teams, and the other teams love it. And
obviously, Kasper Schmeichel obviously came out and said, "Has it really come home yet?" And that kind of it got rattled me a little bit. I won't lie.
It did rattle me.
So but then the Danes lost. So.
And as even with the you know, the Eriksen thing, they've come back and they've reached a semi-final and they've took England all the way to 120 minutes. So
would you say perhaps Denmark would have surprised package team? They got to semi-finals, didn't they?
Who did we have as our surprise package team?
Would it even say?
Denmark.
Denmark it is.
Denmark, yeah. Denmark.
Or would you say
Czechs?
Czechs? Yeah. I mean,
who did Czechs get knocked out by in the end?
Oh, Jesus.
It was because we were playing one of Denmark. Yeah. So either of the two, probably Denmark, 'cause they got through to. Denmark are a good team though. I'd edge towards Czechs. Denmark got a good spine. Even without the best player, I think they've got a good spine. But yeah, I really enjoyed the tournament. But we've got football again starting in 3 weeks, and we've got another season of that. But we're well set up for the World Cup next season.
And I've got to go back to supporting Bristol City now, rather than watching Harry Kane.
Well, Thomas Callas went further than any Real Madrid player. So
on that note, I think we should end it there, Harry. And now we can all say our life peaked when that Luke Shaw goal went in, rather than Kieran Trippier's. So my life is now peaked because this video is over. We'll see you guys soon. What videos we got in the pipeline, Harry? Do you think we have the Premier League predictions coming up? Other stuff. Just let us know. A lot. Just Premier League really, because obviously it starts like you said in 3 weeks.
40.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much, and we appreciate it very much. Please subscribe, like. There'll be clips of us on TikTok. Obviously, TikTok's been getting quite a lot of views recently as well, because obviously the Euro hype. We appreciate it massively. Yes, please check us out on every social you can possible. Our link tree is down below in the description as well. And we'll see you guys in a video in a couple of weeks or so, perhaps after this. See you soon.